feel that?
You know, I just feel like I need to lose some of these pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not fat and shit.
I think we're gonna have to be quiet.
Yeah, tell your wife what I did in here. Also kill yourself.
Wow. Alright people, what's up everyone, and welcome to another movie review. And I just got back from seeing a little movie called Halloween, baby. Oh, I couldn't wait for this movie. And it's out, and I saw it, and I won't spoil what I thought of it. I could have hated it. Okay, I'm going to take the smile off my face. You see the smile? Gone. I don't know. I could have hated it. I didn't. But I was very excited for this. The trailers have been great. The news for the last couple years about how David Gordon Green and Danny McBride were working on it, and they were huge fans of the series, and it was a passion project, and all the little things I've been hearing, like they're bringing back Nick Castle, of course they're bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's going to be a direct sequel from the first one, so they're not taking any of the sequels into consideration. This is the only one that is considered a sequel in their eyes. So I was in right there. So let's go. Let's finish this. Finish the fight. Halo 3. That's a video game. So what did I think of Halloween 2018? Let's find out. Alright, so Halloween 2018, or as some people are dubbing it, Halloween 40 years later. Of course, like I said, takes place 40 years after the end of the original movie. We had at the end of the original movie, Loomis and Laurie Strode fighting off Michael. Loomis shoots him like 6 times. He falls out of the house. Loomis looks. He's not there anymore. You're like, oh my god. Oh, well, he escaped. He's not human. He got shot 6 times. And then, of course, in 2, we find out what happened, but that doesn't exist anymore. Cut it out. I don't want to know about it. Okay? In this movie, he was caught pretty much immediately after that. He stumbled out. They don't really say, but you assume that he probably like got up. He was shot 6 times, but he kind of stumbled away, and they caught him after that. So for 40 years, Michael Myers has been in a mental institute, and he's been transferred to multiple different ones. He even has a new psychiatrist this time, the new Loomis, as they even dub him in this movie, which I thought was funny. So he has a new psychiatrist. He's in a mental asylum. He's just been standing there staring for 40 years, waiting for his moment to strike again, and he gets his time to shine. A couple of douchebag podcasters come in to do some like mystery show thing or whatever, and they come up to Michael and is like, hey Michael, look, I got your mask, bro, look at my mask, it's mine now, punk. He doesn't say any of this. He's British, by the way, so he doesn't say any of that. So Michael doesn't say anything after he sees that. He's just standing there, whatever, and then boom, he breaks free. Whoo, he breaks free, and his reign of chaos continues. But of course, my girl Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode is back. She has been for the last 40 years preparing for the return of Michael Myers. And it is a glorious, glorious return. Oh, she's been waiting, and I've been waiting too. Oh my god, let me just say this right here. I had a great time with Halloween. Is it perfect? No. Are there some problems? Sure. But man, do they get the essence of what made that first one right? But not only that, they actually add a lot of stuff that you would want to see in a Halloween movie. Do you want to see some brutal kills? You got that. I mean, the first one definitely didn't have that. Let's not get screwy here. The first movie had barely any blood. It was barely that violent. You saw a couple nipples and titties and all that, but for the most part, it wasn't really that hard R, you know what I mean? And then the sequels, of course, got way more violent. But this one is showing a different version of Michael than the first one. The first one, yeah, he's a stalker. Here, he's still a stalker, but he's a brutally effective one. He mutilates so many people in this movie. If you want to see a huge body count, you get one. This movie does not screw around. You see around a dozen people getting murdered. Probably more. I wasn't there counting, of course. I was there to enjoy the movie. So I'm just going to say around a dozen people get mutilated. And I'm not talking about stab, that's it. Hanged, stab, hanged, slashed to the face, killed off screen, whatever. I'm talking about straight up just gory shit, and I loved it. I really did. I don't want to spoil any deaths, but there is a couple that are like make you go, oh god, and there's a couple that you weren't even expecting. Like I was expecting that to happen. Like there's one part where someone looked like they're about to get stabbed, and then something else completely different happened, and I loved it. It threw me for a loop. So right there, I gotta give this movie credit right there. It took me by surprise so many times with its kills. So while the movie itself is extremely brutal, I mean, you'll see the first person to get killed in this movie, you will immediately go, oh, okay, they're not screwing around with this one. they're not screwing around. They mean business. They mean business, all right? But right off the bat, the movie has a great intro. It's the whole mental asylum thing that you see in the trailer with the guy holding the mask. And then it cuts, and it goes to that beautiful intro. I was hoping they do the intro, and they do it. If you're a Halloween fan, the first one, or even the second one, you know what I'm talking about. That intro, oh, but it's like done in a very different way. I'm not spoiling anything here, because you have to see it to believe it. It's so good. It's so good. I'm hyping you up. I want you to be hyped. Okay, go into this expecting that intro, but whew, it's so good what they do with it. So the intro is great. It's absolutely brutal. Let me just say right here, okay? The movie does have plenty of references and callbacks, especially callbacks, where certain things that happen in the first movie might get repeated here, but they are there for a reason, okay? They're there to set up character development and to establish the character development and then fulfill the character development. And I thought those were really well done. If you're going to do callbacks and references, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. They make it make sense in the world. So I have to give the movie huge credit right there. But now let's get to my girl, Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh my God. She is phenomenal in this as Laurie Strode. It's been 40 years, and for 40 years she's been dealing with PTSD of almost getting murdered by a psychopathic man with a mask on, with a William Shatner mask on. And she's been dealing with it. A couple friends died. You know, she almost died. She got messed up. She had to fight the guy off. So she had to deal with that. And the way she dealt with it is not just cowering, going, oh, they're gonna get me. She dealt with it like a freaking beast. She became a survivalist. She just taught her daughter how to survive. She made this fortress of a house where there's like an escape room, or not escape room, but like a panic room. She has tons of guns. She learned how to use guns. She learned how to use knives. Like, it's awesome to see that. But it's also really tragic because you see that it took a toll on her actual life, because she really didn't do a ton else besides, you know, prepare herself for the future. I'm actually surprised she even had a kid at that point. Like, it seemed like all she did for her life is just wait for this man to show up again. And it is really, really tragic at times. There's a couple parts where you see the family, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode's daughter, played by Judy Greer, dealing with this, and there's some real emotion there, and I really loved all that stuff. It's probably the first time in any of the Halloween movies where I really felt a big, deep emotion, you know? Like, there's been a couple times in Halloween movies I'm like, oh no, not that character, but then I'd be I'll be over it pretty quickly. Here it's just like there's so many moments where characters aren't even dying, and I'm like, oh man, this is really emotional. They did a great job, and Jamie Lee Curtis, oh, hats off to you. So she's great, but I have to give a big kudos to the rest of the cast too. They did a phenomenal job as well. Judy Greer, like I said, there's a couple moments where we really do feel the pain between mother and daughter, and she does a great job. I've actually never really seen Judy Greer in really dramatic roles, and here it actually worked. Most of the time when I see Judy Greer, I have a hard time saying her name, I don't know why, but I have a hard time saying a lot of things. But I was really, really impressed by how good she is in a dramatic role like this, where she actually has to emote. So that was surprising. I've only seen her in comedy stuff, really. I'm sure there's dramatic stuff she's done before, but I've only seen the comedy stuff. So she's great. There's a great supporting cast of like teenagers too. Like a couple of them, you know, are pretty, not forgettable, but they're kind of like way in the like far supporting cast, but they all did really good. I thought the girl that played Laurie Strode's granddaughter was really good as well. Will Patton, huge fan of Will Patton. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, that guy's great. He gives a commanding performance pretty much every time, and he plays the sheriff of Haddonfield, which, I mean, if you have a Halloween movie, you have to have a sheriff. That's like I think that's a rule in Halloween. So we have a sheriff, and he's great as well. Everybody does a really good job. I especially the guy that plays Michael now, James Jude Courtney, I think his name is, or I think that's his name, right? He's really good as Michael, and I know it's not just him playing Michael. It's also Nick Castle in a couple scenes, I believe. But you couldn't tell, man. He does a great job. So Michael, I guess we have to talk about Michael now. So let's talk about Michael. My boy, Mikey Myers. I've been waiting for a brand new Halloween movie to make me scared of Michael Myers again, because even though I might enjoy a lot of the Halloween movies, for the most part, he stopped being scary a little while ago. I would say probably At the end of part 4, I stopped being scared of him. And I know it's not part 4, but you know what I mean. Number 4. 5, completely not scared. 6, not scared. H2O, okay, brought it back a little bit, you know. Resurrection completely failed. And then the Rob Zombie ones, I thought they tried way too hard to make him scary. They made him too imposing by making him like 7 feet tall. I don't know, it just didn't work for me there. Personally, so I wasn't scared. I just thought, it's Rob Zombie really trying hard to make me scared of this guy. And I mean, if I saw him in real life, he'd be scary. But what really made Michael Myers scary to me is that he kind of looked like, when it comes to his figure and his height, he looked normal enough, like not, of course his face, you didn't really see it, but even in the first scene in Halloween, we see a guy like jump on the hood of a car, and if you really pause it and look, it just looks like a kid. It looks like a 21-year-old kid, and I wasn't terrified of him because he's huge and hulking. He's just a guy. And here they do that. They make him a guy. You see his face a lot in this movie. And he kind of, he looks rugged and older, but he looks like a guy that could mess you up. He doesn't look like a giant beast that could mess you up. So I believe it here. And man, the things he does in this movie, he does not give a shit. There's no wink and a nudge joke moment with Mikey, where I call him Mikey, but it makes me less scared of him if I call him Mikey. So like, there's no wink nudge jokes with Michael where he like does something funny or anything. Like anybody was expecting that, but even Resurrection I don't think did that. So I don't even know why I brought that up. But there's nothing. He's just a straight up killing machine. He goes around and kills almost anything he sees. There's actually one moment in this movie where I thought they're going to cross a line that no movie would cross. I was like an inch away from going like, is there going to be a movie that makes like $70 million in its opening weekend that does what I'm thinking? If you see the movie, you might know what I'm talking about. They don't cross that line. I was like, oh, wow. But they do cross a few lines. The first kill in this movie, Michael goes way further than I thought he would. I was like, whoa, okay, shit. I haven't seen something like that in a little while. So, congrats. Actually, that's not true. I just saw a movie recently that had something like that. So, that's not true, technically. So, Mikey, you're long. It was long due, Mikey, all right? Come on, you could have did that years ago. But man, oh man, I let me just say, I was really blown away by how scary and imposing and threatening this guy was. 40 years later, and he's still threatening. That mask looks great. It's probably the best looking mask in the boiler suit and all that stuff, or the mechanic suit, whatever, that he's had since the first. They nailed it when it comes to just the way he looks and the way he acts. The actors do a great job. Nick Castle and James Jude Courtney, they both do great, and I gotta give it out. I have to give it up to the makeup artists and the people that made the costumes and the actors. They really made this guy imposing again through his actions and through the way he's performed. It's just great. It's great stuff. Now, I do have a couple of problems. I will bring these up. There's one that is a major spoiler. All I'll say is that there is a reveal in the movie. You will know exactly what I'm talking about if you see the movie, that I was not too keen on. Luckily, they don't really go too far with that, so I was like, okay, there you go. I'm okay. I'll give them credit. It definitely took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that at all. I thought it was like maybe a tongue-in-cheek moment, like we thought they were going to go that route, and they said, nah, we're pulling a fast one here. We're not going down that route. We're going somewhere else. It's really hard to talk about this without spoiling it, but it's really good. And I'll talk about it in the spoiler section, of course, when that happens later. Maybe I'll do a mini spoiler section at the end of this. We'll see. Anyway, besides that, I thought there was a couple of unnecessary jump scares where it was just like, it felt a little lazy. Someone coming out and going, hey, or whatever. And there's one part where someone just like brings one of those like horse head on a stick. So what are they called again? Pony sticks? I don't know. What are they called? Tell me in the comments what they're called. But like they bring it up in the frame and they go, or whatever. It's like, okay, we didn't need that. I mean, it got me, sure, but it just didn't feel earned. It just felt kind of generic. But besides that, like, I don't know, the cinematography isn't as good as the first movie. It's still really good. It's just, not as memorable. The score is great. That's excellent. Every time it comes in, I was like, oh my god, I love this freaking music. Oh, Halloween's a classic. Oh, and this one might end up being a classic in the future. There's so many great moments. Love Jamie Lee Curtis in this. She really brought it. And a lot of the characters are really good, that are really likable. A lot of the supporting cast does a great job. A lot of really likable characters in the movie. Great death scenes. Michael Myers is imposing and terrifying once again. The direction is great. The pace is perfect. It's not too long, not too short. Just right. And the ending. Oh, the ending. I loved it. I know some people are going to have a problem with the ending because it didn't do what some people wanted it to do. I already predict there's going to be problems with people, or people are going to have problems with it, I should say. But I loved it. So overall, I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. There are problems. The cinematography could have been better. It's still good, don't get me wrong. It still looks really nice, and it has a Halloween-y feel to it. That sounds weird. The reveal is a little annoying, and some of the jump scares took me out of it. Besides that, everything else was either really good or great. I loved it. I had a great time. It's a blast. And it's scary. It's a legit scary movie. And it makes you really happy if you're a huge Halloween fan, because I'm already, because it's going to be a really big success. So I could just like see kids in the future being scared of Michael Myers, and maybe that makes me feel weird that I'm happy that little kids are scared of a serial killer. It's weird, but it's all in good fun for the most part. For the most part, I know that sounds weird, but I'm a horror fan. That's just how I am. I'm sure other horror fans will agree. Michael Myers lives on, and I'm so glad this movie's good. I'm so glad it's doing well, and I'm so glad it's not a shitty remake. They could have easily did another one, and they didn't. Thank you. So there you go. The only problem I have with this is that because this one will be so successful, I have a feeling we'll be seeing other people try to remake but do sequels to past horror icons like Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger, and we'll probably see another Leatherface movie, and they'll probably try to do that same thing. Leatherface already had one. Texas Chainsaw 3D was supposed to be a direct sequel to the first one. Thank God this movie isn't that. Let me just say. This one pays respect to it and bookends it in a way where if there is no more Halloween movies, I'll be like, okay, that's good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Even though the first Halloween, I don't think exactly needed a sequel. Like, that would have been great if that was just left out and just like, bam, where is he? I don't know. But still, this is great. This is great stuff. So I'm going to give it I gotta give it a 36 out of 40. I have a few problems, a couple. One's big, the other two are kind of light, and everything else is so good. I have to give it a 36 out of 40, which is a 9 out of 10. Go see it this weekend. It's phenomenal. So there you go. That is my review for Halloween 2018. I hope you enjoyed it, and of course, until next time, I love you. Goodbye. Mwah. Now, for all you people that are staying here, okay? I said I might do a spoiler discussion, or a spoiler section. I'm doing it right now, baby. Okay. So, if you haven't seen it yet, get out. Go. Leave. Bye. So, alright. So, let's talk about a couple of the kills. There is well, actually, I guess let's talk about the reveal first. But let's get the negative out of the way. The reveal I thought was a little silly. Like, the whole thing about him being the psychologist, or the psychiatrist. Sorry, psychologist. Well, it's whatever. Same shit. It's not, but it's psychiatrist. Him being, like, this kind of crazy guy who, like, he's been following up on Michael's case for like not exactly 40 years, but something close to that. And he's gone nuts to the point where he doesn't want anybody to kill Michael. So there's a point where Mike Patton's about to blow his head off. And of course he plays the sheriff. And of course the psychiatrist guy, I forgot his name. He shows up and freaking just straight up shanks him in the throat. And Mike Patton dies there in a very gory death, which sucked. I was hoping he would see the end of the movie. There's even a couple scenes in the trailer of him like looking like he's about to fight off with Michael that aren't in the movie. Nice way to throw us off for a loop. They really wanted that reveal to be something special, I guess. I just thought it was a little strange. I get the point, but I didn't really care for the way it was revealed. Also, I think the guy that plays that psychiatrist, while good, there's a lot of times where he sounds exactly like Sam Loomis. By the way, great Sam Loomis cameo there. I thought that was a great idea. They did a great job with honoring Donald Pleasance by, of course, not like putting him in there somehow, like getting an actor to replace him or whatever, but they just have audio of him talking on a tape, and it's supposed to be, I'm assuming it's supposed to be some other guy doing a Donald Pleasance impersonation, but really good. But anyway, the psychiatrist sounds very similar to Sam Loomis at times, just the way he enunciates words and stuff like that. It just, I don't know, I felt like they were really trying hard for him to be the new Sam Loomis, so I appreciate that they did go a different route where he's like, he's insane and whoa, but I just didn't really care for the reveal itself. Now let's talk about some kills. That guy, the psychiatrist, gets killed pretty much like 5 minutes after the reveal happens, so you don't need to worry about that reveal going anywhere, because it doesn't. Oh, well, it goes somewhere. It goes into the dirt, into the gravel, because Mikey takes his ass out. by stomping his head into the gravel, and you're like, okay, I mean, the movie has been brutal so far, but it's been like throat rips and neck breaks and stuff, and impalements, and there's been some really bloody scenes, and then he stomps that motherfucker's head in, and it's fucking, you just, it's so good, it's so gory, and you're thinking, oh my god, that was gross. They spend a little bit of time looking at it too. It's not like he stomps it and immediately cuts. It's stomp, look at it for maybe a second, next scene. And I'm like, oh, that was gory. And then about 2 minutes later, it comes back. It comes back to that scene, and you just see like the head on the ground. You're like, oh, it's like it's not even done. It's not even over. But that scene, that was probably the goriest scene. My favorite kill though is a callback. There's one character that is the boyfriend of the babysitter character that we see in the first trailer, where she's trying to close the closet and then opens it and Mike's in there. Which, by the way, that's actually kind of different. They actually filmed that differently for the actual movie. So I appreciate that, because I thought, even though I liked that in the first trailer, I thought that would be kind of a cheap jump scare, and it was really obvious. They filmed it differently for the movie, and I thought that was good. But anyway, she gets killed, she gets stabbed a couple times, and then the boyfriend comes up, and you don't see what happens to him. And then later on, Mike Patton shows up and is looking through the house. He just sees this kid on the wall impaled, just like the kid in the first movie was impaled on the wall. And he's just impaled on the wall with a knife through the back of his neck. And he's just like, it's great. It's not even that brutal when it comes to like blood and guts. You just see a little bit of blood, but it's just brutal in the point that he turned that motherfucker into a piece of art. Like, yeah, there you go. You like that. But he took a hammer and hit the handle with it. I love it. It was so good. There's a few neck breaks, and I was actually surprised. The first neck break and the first kill, period, is a kid. A kid gets killed. Now, other people have died before that, but the first on-screen death where we actually see someone die is a kid. A kid with a gun, by the way. Brave kid. I'll give him credit. He tried. But he gets his neck broken. I was surprised they didn't go further, to be honest. I thought he was gonna like bash his head into the window or something like that. But no, he just breaks his neck in a car. I was like, gee, and you hear the neck break? Whew. I was surprised they went there. And also, I was mentioning earlier that I thought they were going to cross a line that you usually don't cross. There's a part where Mike's in I keep saying Mike. Michael's in someone's house, and he hears a baby in a crib, and immediately I was like, oh shit. I think everybody in my theater, like, I could feel like puckered buttholes. Like, it's just like, this is gonna be fucked up. and he stops in front of the crib. I'm like, oh no, oh shit! If he kills a fucking baby, and he just walks by, and I was like, oh okay, all right, all right, he didn't kill it. All right, well, bravo. They didn't kill a baby. They made us think he'd kill a baby, but he didn't. So kudos. What else? Is there anything else I want to mention? I'll talk about more of the spoilers in the spoiler discussion portion. But yeah, great time. Oh, the ending. We'll talk about this, but I have to save some for the spoiler discussion. So if you want to hear me talk about the ending, got way into the spoiler discussion. Let me just say the final shot of Michael at the end was great, where he's just like, oh, it's so good. Anyway, there you go. Thank you. Until next time, goodbye.